What's up? I'm Daniel with Hawk Nelson, and I'm talking to Lifter. Well, it's about almost 2 years ago now that Hawk Nelson went through some major changes all the way up to this point. Our former singer Jason decided he was going to go on and do a solo thing, which kind of left the three of us in a position where we didn't know if we were going to continue to be a band. And so we knew we loved what we did, but we wanted to, instead of artificially just kind of pushing it through, we really sat down and talked and prayed to God, if this is what you want us to do, then you open the doors and we'll walk through them. If you close the doors, that's cool too. We've been a band for 10 years. We don't take that lightly. We're very grateful. So, you know, we were trying to talk to other singers, and all the guys from DC Talk were already taken, and you know, it just wasn't really working on our own kind of strength or trying all of our different stuff out. And we were finishing our last tour with Mercy Me when Bart, the singer, hauled Jonathan, our guitarist, aside into their dressing room, and he says, "I think you need to be the guy. I think you're the singer. I just don't think you realize it yet." And John's like, "What are you talking about, man? Like, we never thought about that. I'm the guitarist, and it's such a different capacity." But in the end, that's what happened. We gave it a shot. It felt really natural. It felt like we were starting a band with guys we were already in a band with. And it was really nice that we didn't have to bring someone else in, and I think it's translated very, very good. We feel really together. So here we are. We spent the last year and a half working on our new record, Made, and it tells of all of our trials and all the stuff we went through and all the hard times, but also all God's blessings and His faithfulness throughout it all. Well, it's interesting when we all go through these things in our lives, right? These struggles or times of doubt, or we lose a job, or you know, there's a relationship stress, and I think that often God is doing things well ahead of that, and those situations He's using to shape us. We say that maybe our problems are temporary, but the changes He creates in us are everlasting. And you know, Jesus Himself says, you know, that troubles will come your way. But really, I think it's an opportunity for God to work. And so for us, although we at first were like, "No, Jason, you gotta stay," and you know, in the natural, we were trying to make it all work, God was up to something bigger and greater for Jason's life and for us as Hawk Nelson. And now we're starting to see that, you know, come to pass. And at the time we were stressed out. It was the hardest year of my life. But now I know without a doubt that God had plans before we even knew them. I still get nervous, to be honest with you. Hawk Nelson, we did play a festival in Michigan last summer. It was our first show. And I remember thinking, this feels so weird, and it felt like, you know, sweaty palms, and it like took me back to high school and being nervous. But pretty quickly, you know, I've been in a band with these guys for years, and we just gel, and it's just awesome. And you know, sometimes we have mechanical problems on stage, and power can go down. It doesn't matter. We can just play with each other because we know each other so well. Yeah. You know, it's just a kind of a thing it just happens when you spend so much time together.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, first I want to say that I think that your music can be a ministry in itself. Obviously, third-party stuff. We went with Food for the Hungry to the Philippines, and I love what they're doing, and we're trying to get a whole community, a community called Tanza, sponsored, and a local pastor in church, Pastor Lito there, he's doing great stuff, helping these kids that have nothing. But aside from that, here at home, I find that when we went through all this, you know, struggle, it made us question, what are we doing, and God, what do you want us to say? And I think that, you know, whether you're a secular band or not, you need to ask yourself the question, what am I saying with my music? You know, a lot of bands have different things they want to convey, but for us, why are we doing this? Why are we leaving our families and hitting the road so hard? And so we realized, like, if we're not really conveying God's love and truth and, you know, the hope He's given us, we're kind of just like kicking the can down the road. So this time around, we were like, let's let our music just be a breath of fresh air. Let's let God be in control. You know, even though we're still fun and entertaining, that's great. But if there's not that aspect of what most people would probably consider like ministry, just basically telling people that they're loved, then there's no point. So this time around, we have those songs where we feel like God's really breathed them into us, and you'll hear them. Interesting. We were playing at a festival, Creation East, a few weeks ago, and we played in between two hardcore bands. And we're not hardcore. We're like pop music. And it was interesting, right? Because like I literally can't make out these words. But you meet these guys after, and they're like the super nicest guys. And like I think of System of a Down music or bands like that. I actually used to listen to that kind of music in high school. And it's weird. The reason I liked it at the time was because I was depressed and down, and it fed that. But ultimately, that's not actually good. I don't think that, I know stylistically there's tons of Christian bands from Demon Hunter to whatever. They're excellent bands sonically and musically, but we're not singing the same message. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're never gonna get that message from someone that's been changed. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know if it's the same thing. I think it's just different. I think bands are meant for different people too, right? Not everyone's gonna like Creedence Clearwater Revival, and not everyone's gonna like Elvis or whatever. That's okay. But I recognize that we get to do this and we appeal to certain people. It's hard to appeal to everybody. When we played with those hardcore bands, they were reaching people that wouldn't listen to Hawk Nelson, and that's okay. I think that's great. I just think everyone should do what they do passionately and wholeheartedly, and yeah, I don't know.